So Darlene, let me introduce you, or let me edify. Everybody knows you, but let me explain what we're doing on these calls. We have been doing a call every Thursday for all of North America, and they've been working out very well. I think they're paying a lot of dividends, but we started talking as a group, and one of the things that triggered the growth we're now experiencing in Darlene's group and others is we started doing regional meetings. Darlene was one of the first, one of the most successful. And one thing that we've gained with the big North American calls is we're reaching a lot of people at once. One thing we gave up is the ability to reach out specifically like a rifle instead of a shotgun to Darlene, her team, and spend time to give her a chance to say, hey, this is what my team needs. This is what I'm passionate about. So Darlene is one of the pioneers of unicity. She is the first one, speaking of pioneers, to do this regional, now more than ever, Zoom call. We'll have it this way on the first and the third every month, first and the third week every month. And Darlene was always one to say yes, always wanted to accept the challenge, and she's plowing this new ground. Darlene is one who does not know how to quit. She may go a little bit off of the radar, but all she's doing during those times is gathering her strength. I've seen her in action. I've seen her with people. She's a leader you can trust. She's a leader you can follow, and she's a leader around whom you can build a business because she has your best interest at heart. Even if you're not in her downline, even if you're cross line 100 miles, Darlene will reach out, adopt you. She's not worried about her bottom line every single time, but she's going to coach, nurture, and encourage you. So I have nothing but respect for Darlene Long and her team. Let's see. We're going to keep these meetings as much as possible, following our now more than ever format. So I'm not going to take much more time. But I respect all of you. I respect what you're doing. I've seen your progress. Doug, yes, I did get your note. I haven't been to the office to get that book, but I will. All of you who need to reach out to me directly or to Matt directly or to Micah directly, Amanda, we are available here for you. We work for you. And if I ever forget that, Darlene reminds me. So I'm thrilled to have her here. And I'm going to turn the time back over to our North America now more than ever call, regional call, Toronto, Greater Canada, the North Pole, and Darlene Long. Thank you, Darlene.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. And thank you for everybody coming here. And I'm thrilled to see how many people are here already. And as usual, people will sneak in, but thank you, Clayton, for this challenge, for starting out with these things, these Zoom meetings regionally. And there's nothing to say that we can't get a regional meeting going on every week or twice a month or whatever, but this is one that is sponsored by the company. So therefore we have corporate representation here. And so Clayton Barton and I, for some of you maybe heard the story and some of you maybe not, but when Clayton Barton took the reins here in North America, it's almost 2 years ago now, he gave me a call and it was in December. And I was getting ready for Christmas and I had my my grandkids out having our pictures taken with Santa Claus. And every year since my grandchildren came along, they get a picture taken with grandma, and every year it has grown. And so Clayton called me at the time that I was just finishing getting that done. And so when he called, I knew who he was, and I went out and sat in my car, and it was a snowstorm in December. And Clayton listened to me go off like for well over an hour. And I'm surprised he ever called me back again. That's the truth. And it was at a time that Unicity in North America was at a transition, and Clayton Barton has definitely led us through that transition and continues to do so, even so far as this kind of a transition where we're meeting in our homes on, on a Zoom call. And what I've learned from Clayton over the last almost 2 years is he would always give me a little push. He'd give me a little challenge, and I'd always say yes. And it wasn't always my nature to say yes when people challenged me. And this is a lesson for everyone. It wasn't in my nature to say yes. And the first call that Clayton and I had, I was very angry. There's no question about it. And I wasn't prepared to say yes to anything, but I wanted somebody to hear me out because I love this company and I love these products. And what happens is we kind of get in a groove and not saying yes and not really being proactive or embracing what we can do or what we could do in this business. And it isn't just me that suffers, it's the whole company that was suffering. And I think it was happening throughout North America. And so Clayton has come along and he started, never gave me a lot of notice, and that was good for me because he'd say yes and then I have to figure it out in the next 24 or 36 hours. And there was always a bit of panic and a little bit of stress, but there was always this case of me saving face, if you can imagine. And so over the last year and a half, I've learned to say yes to him. And I've learned to say yes to a lot of things. And I would wish that for everyone that is on this call. And this call is all for you so that you can find and feel what I'm finding and feeling with this company at this time. And so it's a little more personal, a little less people here, not over 100 or so. So we're here and we're talking. And everyone that's on this call knows that I read a lot and that I follow trainings, and UBT is part of one of the things that I embraced, and Clayton Barton is one of the things that I embraced. And I've never stopped reading. And there's a gentleman that I have read, and actually Doug Collins and I found him kind of together. And he's now doing 1 minute business things every day. And they're really 3 or 4 minutes. But Donald Miller said something in a video last week that blew me away. And I have to say it to every single person, to be honest with you here. And the companies and the organizations, he says, he was interviewing the CEO of Chick-fil-A. And Chick-fil-A is that big organization that's so well run and so well admired in the US. And the fellow from Chick-fil-A has written a book, and the book is called Chess, Not Checkers. And he had found 4 key things of every thriving, growing, vital organization that he studied. And he has studied some of the biggest organizations in the world. And the first thing that he found, and this is what Clayton Barton has done for me, or did to me. He said, every thriving organization that grows has a bet on leadership. And they know the value of strong leadership. They know that if they want to grow and continue to expand and grow, we need to develop leadership. And that is what Clayton is all about. I'm certain that he's about developing leadership. He certainly has led me that way and taught me leadership says yes and figures it out afterwards, and works with the people and the resources that they have, and they learn and they grow and they move beyond that. So that was one of the really big things. The next thing that the CEO of Chick-fil-A said, that every single thriving organization has a strategy or values and purposes, and the ACT is one. and so what you've seen over since the COVID has happened and with these Zoom calls is the company, started that because I had my Detroit meeting booked and they were in Hawaii and I texted Clayton. I said, what are we going to do about my meeting in Detroit? I don't want to disappoint these people again. And could we do something online and on Zoom? And he said yes. He said yes at that time to me. And hence the Zoom calls have started and continue to do so every Thursday night. Now he's saying, let's take this here Zoom and let's separate it. And we're going to do different regional meetings and touch base with these little spots all over North America and give them a chance to give the leadership there a chance to talk to the people and their people, because we're not going to meetings. And so they act as one, and the strategy right now is using Zoom. For me, the strategy right now is using On the Lighter Side. Everyone that's on this call knows about On the Lighter Side, which is my private group. And the strategy is emailing and calling, that kind of thing, coming to these Zoom meetings and just working in tandem and setting goals, learning to work independently, but working with the same purpose and the same values that we all continue to have. And that's to make other people. The other thing, the third thing that all of these organizations had the ability to do was to touch people's hearts. And Clayton is certainly one that has been able to touch my heart, get me to say yes, get me to be reignited, get me excited about what we have to offer here with Unicity. And what it does, if you get people's hearts, they can trust you again. They tend to move towards you. They tend to stay with you. Loyalty is built. And then not only loyalty, but a passion. And I'm finding when people hearts are touched and they become passionate about what's happening to them with what I'm doing or what the company is supplying here, and you're going to hear more tonight, then the growth starts to become automatic because people are excited. And so the other and the last thing that he found, and there's many things he said that organizations do, but they build routine. And so that everybody in the organization knows the routine, knows the values, knows the purpose, has the passion, have their hearts in their work, and has their, and the people that lives that they're touching also, you're touching their hearts, and they have leadership. North America needs you. We need you. We're in a place in Canada, in North America. We have some Americans on here. We have some gals on here from Detroit, and we need this leadership to expand, to grow. And I know that, let's face it, you are not going to do Unicity 8 hours a day. But as Stuart Hughes says, it is consistency that will always beat out intensity. So if you just take a couple of hours and set it aside and do something every day for your business, just something to move your business forward in an hour or two, and you do that consistently 5 days a week, in 90 days, you're going to know your business is different. And so everybody that I've watched grow in this business, because I've been here for almost 28 years, it'll be 28 years in January. I've had some great years. I've had some horrible years, but so has Unicity. And so when they're growing, they're doing something consistently. And we got a great example of somebody with Rick Jordan. Rick Jordan, I remember when we merged, and I remember that he had a lot of business that he was doing. He would never ever focused on Unicity full time. He started for years, he gave it 1 hour a day, period, 5 days a week. And then something changed around 2007, 2008. And he decided he was going to do 90 days and he was going to ramp up his commitment and do just that little bit more for 90 days straight. And that's when his business started to change. And then a couple of years later, he became a presidential director. Then he did 90 days straight and he became a diamond presidential director. And then back, I think it was 2012, 13, 14, he did another 90 days straight and he became a crown diamond. And that's how it happens. So you do consistent, then take a sprint for 90 days and then do it consistent. Because the money that is here, we are real people with real products, with real science, with real opportunity to earn real money is here if you can focus. So I want to really thank Clayton for everything that he's done for me over the last year and a half. And I want to introduce somebody to you who has really actually inspired me in many, many ways since I met him. He's a new face for most of you. And he is actually in charge of the program that I have just simply fallen in love with. And he has, as we've had not a lot of conversations, just enough conversations, I have come to view what he's going to talk about as perhaps the biggest groundbreaking program that we've ever had. And this guy is somebody who has a routine, who shares the same values and the same vision as I do. He he's a leader on his own. Clayton and I discussed him and how well he has risen to all of the challenges that he's had at head office. And he has a strategy that he wants to talk to you about tonight, and a program that I believe that he's really proud of. I'd like you all to meet Micah Adams, who's in charge of the Activate Plus program. So Micah, I'm quiet now. You can even mute me if you want.
No, thank you. Thank you, Darlene. I do have to admit that I'm jealous about a few things. First of all, when Darlene was introducing who was going to be speaking, which does happen to be me, she was saying so many nice things. I started to get a little jealous and say, who's this that's going to speak before me? I don't want to have to follow after this person. And so that was really nice of you, Darlene. Thank you. And if my sound's ever not coming through, just someone message me or flare up something. But I'm also jealous. These regional meetings, Clayton's always told me how he gets to travel out to you guys, meet you, sit down with you, shake hands, see the countryside. I don't get to do any of that. And so I'm a little bummed. I mean, yeah, I get to be here in my house and you guys get to be in yours. So technology is really cool that way, but I'm a little bummed that I don't get to be there and see you face to face. So I see a lot of names on here that I recognize. Just like Darlene said, my name is Micah and I've been with Unicity for almost 4 years. The first half of my time I spent actually in R&D. And then after I helped with the product making. And so the science behind the products, the how we make them. And then later, actually, it wasn't until Clayton came back and started heading up these markets that him and I were introduced, and we connected well and had a similar energy and vision for what we think could be with Unicity in our markets. So I got brought over, and it has been a nonstop whirlwind as far as new projects to take on, new things to learn, and meeting all of you has been the best part. And so again, I'm sorry this can't be more personal, but I'm excited because I get to talk to you about something that a lot of you have probably heard of. And the phrase hopefully doesn't cause a ton of confusion, but it's a program called Activate Plus. So Activate started about a year ago. As many of you are aware, we have two products called LC Base and Unimate Fuel, and those are called Activate. So the plus portion comes from that we have a few extra products added into someone's experience, and it's 12 weeks long, and they actually get to have a product expert coach from the Unicity corporate side that works with them once a week on a phone call, as well as through texting whenever that person needs. And so I'm excited because it's different than anything I've ever got to be a part of, and it's probably going to sound very different to you guys. So first of all, the three main things that I'd like to bring up about Activate Plus is that it's the best products, it's principle based, and it has a unique approach. And it's that unique approach that I'm really excited about, and that I hope means something to you, and it's something that we can actually all talk about. And actually, before I go on so that I don't forget, all of you have any access to me that you want. Like Clayton mentioned, we work for you. And so my email is micah.adams@unicity.com. So if after tonight you have questions or you want to know more about Activate Plus, you can reach out to anybody here, Darlene included, or anybody in your upline, as well as you can reach out to me. I'd love to inform and answer any questions that you have about the products or how it works. Okay, so first, all right, this is the exciting part. So best products in the world. I'm probably preaching to the choir on this one. All of you love Unicity products, you take Unicity products. And so, but we have probably one of the most beefed out product offerings when it comes to Activate Plus. You have Unimate Fuel and LC Base, a powerful combination that's harnessing the science that Unicity gets behind. And it's the whole idea of activating our metabolic flexibility. And so we teach our bodies to burn fat, and Unimate Fuel ramps that up. And then LC Base helps us prioritize protein and then fuel with good fats. And then the product that, or two products that you guys all know, and I'm sure take, daily, or I know some of you guys take them multiple times a day. I know there's some matcha people out there that you guys are 3 or 4 timers. You guys are crazy. But we have balance and matcha, time tested, clinically tested balance. And so also we want people to sample new products. And so they get to sample the Unimate Citrus Mint. And if you're in Canada, they get to try Bone Fortify. And if you're in the States, they have Nagene Collagen. And so this is a unique set of products that allows for the most powerful experience in helping our metabolic health. And so each person that goes through this, they get to not only experience those products, but they learn specifically how each product is actually going to help them accomplish their goals and why it does it that way. And so I'll touch on that in just a second with the idea of our unique approach. So secondly, principle-based. The reason I love it being principle-based is because principles apply to virtually anyone. So there's not a lot of second guessing. There's not a lot of, oh, well, it kind of depends on who you are and where you come from. And some of these things that we read about or other programs we see, they try to make it sound like it's heavily dependent on so many different factors. But Unicity's done a good job of identifying true principles that when anybody when anybody abides by one of those principles, they're going to see the results. And so because of its simplicity that way, one, it's copyable, meaning it's teachable to your friends, to your family. But second, it's easy to implement. Something that makes a lot of programs or regimens so hard is that it's complicated. But if someone can have the world-class products with a handful of principles, that's powerful because that's not complicated. Okay, so lastly, and this is what I wanted to spend a little bit of time on, our unique approach to it. Most of the time in the health and fitness realm, we think of a coach or we think of a program as being a boot camp, or that they're going to get a drill sergeant. We've all seen movies, we've all seen videos of someone yelling in somebody's face, telling them, you got to do this, you got to do this. And to be fair, sometimes for that period of time, they see some results. But we've noticed something. We've noticed that never lasts. And we're not okay with that. That if someone can go through this experience where they work really hard, but then as soon as they're done, there isn't something to grasp. There isn't something to say, I can keep doing this. I feel like that's unfair. And so what we do with Activate Plus is, in a silly way, we actually look forward to the participants not needing us. And so I know that sounds like a terrible business model, right? I mean, any gym or any exercise regimen or fitness or nutrition regimen out there, they want you to have success with them and failure without them. We change it up. We want you to have success with us and more success after us. And so although I would love to keep contact with every single one of you and the people that come through Activate Plus, I actually am happy when someone goes through Activate Plus and I don't hear from them for a few months until they shoot me a text or an email and they say, oh, hey, just wanted to let you know I've continued on my path and even improved my results, or I've maintained my results. And I love the idea that they just go on, live their life, and don't feel like in order to live their best life, they have to come back and be consistently enrolled in Activate Plus. And so again, that sounds like a different business model, but I think you'll find that anybody who's thrilled with their experience with Activate Plus is going to tell people, and people are going to notice. People are going to say, okay, hold on. We've all been in our houses and my pants don't fit anymore. How come your pants don't fit, but in the opposite direction? Right? And so people notice that, people talk. And so I hope you feel confident that Activate Plus isn't necessarily meant to be something that someone enrolls in and sticks with that enrollment forever. No, people come out of Activate Plus product believers and principle understanders. So when you combine those two, there's no coercion in them being lifelong unicity lovers and beneficiaries. And so how cool is that? How incredible is it that someone can go have a wonderful experience where they set goals, they meet them, they improve their life, and they've loved that experience so much that they don't leave it. That's a pretty unique thing. And I can tell you from helping develop Activate Plus and putting people through it, that's exactly what's happening. Is I feel kind of embarrassed about it, but I've had people that kind of towards the end of their 12 weeks, they say, hey, Micah, you've been great, but I don't really need you anymore. And so, I put the phone away from my mouth. So as I cry a little bit, they don't hear it. But ultimately, that's thrilling. So that's the opportunity that each and every one of you have, either to personally go through it or to look more into Activate Plus. It's an opportunity for anybody that you know that is needing that type of change in their life, whether it's increased energy, whether they desire to lose weight, or whether they look to incorporate products that are really going to enhance their health. Well, then this is a great opportunity to introduce them to something that they don't have to feel like, well, man, do I gotta do this forever? Activate Plus is designed to help them understand principles, learn how to implement products so that they go live life. It's called a lifestyle. And so that's we debated about that for a long time. Do we call it the Activate lifestyle or the Activate program? And when we have our coaching calls with people, that's the vernacular that we use, and we use it specifically. Anytime someone wants to do something more extreme, that's a diet. But when people are looking to implement something that's principle based and that utilizes the best products out there, it can become a lifestyle. And so that is what Activate Plus is. And so I hope that you take time to consider it. There is an Activate Plus website that you can send people to, that you yourself can become familiar with, and we're ready for you. We're ready for you. And I think more than that, as Darlene's mentioned, you all here are leaders. You all here are taking a certain amount of time to build your Unicity business. I obviously am slightly biased, but I think Activate Plus is a great opportunity for people to have an experience with a breadth of Unicity products and see that they work and that it can be part of their life. And then they're going to share it with people. And that's how the world goes changing, is person by person, story by story. And I'm honestly honored to get to be a part of it. And I'm here to serve and help you guys. So Darlene, that's what I wanted to be able to talk to them about. And so I'd like to turn the time back over to Darlene.
Thank you, Micah. So as you hear Micah go through how he sees the Activate Plus and how he represents Activate Plus, you can see that it scores in every single one of those 4 areas that we were talking about from that CEO from Chick-fil-A there. And so he's betting on the leadership. And what happens is, and I've seen it in my own family with my daughters, they had such an experience that each of them attracted more people to the Activate program. And that is what happens. And each of the girls actually have found their new favorite product. So it's kind of counterintuitive when you hear Micah say that they want the people to know that they can succeed beyond the Activate Plus program. But it is exactly what we want to do, and that's reaching into their hearts, and they fall in love with the products, and they stay on the products, and they experience more products, and they do it willingly and without any duress. Now, the next person that I want to hear tonight is somebody who always, when I say yes to Clayton, this is somebody who almost always says yes to me. And you know, I've asked him, hold on, somebody's unmuted. Okay, so I've asked him to talk about his experience. He's right now in the middle of the Activate Plus program. And he is one of those people that I turn to and say, listen, I've just found out about this, and this is. Somebody mute all. Okay. Anyway, we're in the middle, he's in the middle of this Activate program, and he is a graduate of our former transformation program. He is a leader. I know it in his heart, in his mind. He's a man of routine, and he's a yes man for me. So I'd like everybody to hear what Doug Collins has to say about his experience with the Activate Plus program.
Thanks, Darlene. I'm going to keep this, try to compress this down. We're kind of over time, but when I first started the Activate, Micah, his first question to me is, why are you doing this, really? I mean, he's looking for my why, but I guess to kind of give you a backstory, Unicity's been doing these types of programs. It's almost a decade now. They came out with the transformation in 2011. That was the same weekend they launched that. My mom had passed away, and I already lost a dad. I lost my sister to cancer. And when all the dust settled, I enrolled in the transformation, and I got some good results. But what I found with the transformation was it was the boot camp that Mike is talking about. It was very fitness, cardio hit, very, get active kind of thing. And I went through the 12 weeks, but I guess maybe looking back, I wasn't in a place that I was ready for that intensity. And around that time, I was really excited about matcha. I love the matcha. It's been on the market for a year. And I went off and I focused on matcha for the next 2, 3, 4 years. And in 2015, I was in Vegas for a Unicity conference. And again, it was transformation. And it was sort of my first again, look at it. And I had an opportunity to look at these guys my age that were fit. I mean, they had been working it all this time. I'm out there marketing matcha and drinking it and taking the balance and stuff. And, you know, I wanted it. I wanted to be a part of that. And I immediately enrolled in the transformation. And I remember my first call with my coach. You know, at the time I was going to the gym, and the first call with my coach is, okay, explain me what equipment's at the gym. That was the first call. Well, it's a Good Life Fitness and there's this and that. He says, okay, I'm going to email you right now a workout routine. I think it was 5 or 6 days a week. At that time, I'd already played hockey a couple days a week. I think I was around the time I was probably playing squash a couple times a week. And I clearly remember saying to him was, are you kidding me? I can't do this. That's way too, like, I'll kill my, and he says, nope. He says, your body will rise to the challenge if you feed it. So in other words, my analogy would be, if we got in a car and we drove 200 kilometers down the highway, how much fuel are we going to burn versus if we got on the same highway and drove 100 kilometers an hour? So what he was trying to do was saying, you got to fuel the machine. You're going to work harder. You have to eat more, that kind of thing. That was the calls. Now, then I was up for the challenge. I was all for it. I was in a place in my life. I was ready to go. And I did it. And I stayed on the transformation program for 2 years. In the end, from 2011 to 2016, 17, I lost 100 pounds. And I was sort of known within the Unicity world of, you know, that long-term results-driven transformation. But, you know, I was working hard. I was exercising. You know, I'd get on my bike and drive 40 kilometers and really not think about it. I was fit and very athletic at the time. But, you know, then sort of life kind of got on, and the last couple of years has been kind of tough personally. A lot of stuff going on, a death in the family. You just don't have time for that intensity of the exercise. And so it kind of brings me to now was just kind of watching Darlene and her excitement. And, you know, for me, if it means a lot to the company, it's got to be worth something for us to pay attention to. And I just sort of seen this thing building and I seen Darlene's daughter's results. And I just said to Darlene, I want to do it. I want to do it. And I want to do it for 3 reasons. And one was my health. I want to get back to where I was a few years ago. I don't want to kill myself doing it. I don't want the boot camp. I want to go for walks. I want to enjoy life. I want something that's sustainable. And I want something that can last. And the other thing was, you know, I want to understand these new products. I didn't really get them. Like, it's a paradigm shift. When you come from transformation or you've been around Unicity a long time, you know, these new products are they're a paradigm shift. And I really wanted to understand them. And the second reason is I want to be a product of it. I want to embrace it. I want to take it. I want it for myself, but I want to be able to share it. And I always feel that I authentically have to experience it to get out there and share it with others. I can't talk about how much I love or how much everyone should love matcha if I don't drink it. And yes, I'm probably that guy Micah was referring to. I think I've already had 2 or 3 or 4 today. So so I can't drink it and then say, oh, you got to have it to give you energy. I have to authentically have to love it, have to use it, and then I can share it. So that was the second part is, you know, I wanted that. And so I go back to my first call with Micah was way different than my first call in either of the transformations. And my first call was a paradigm shift for me with fuel. Like, I seen fuel in a totally different light. It blew my mind. That right there was worth the investment of the program for me. And so I think today my call with Micah was week 4, and everyone just keeps building on it. And I'm really enjoying it. And the third thing is I'm in this business as a distributor, as an active distributor, and making an investment in the Activate Plus guys, it's a tax write-off. So don't look at it as a cost. When you work out, you know, the meal plan, you know, what it costs to eat food versus the program, but then calculate in, if I could write this off in my taxes, it's coaching. And you can write this off, calculate what that's worth on your taxes. So, you know, so I looked at it from a three perspective was, you know, my own health. I want to get back to where I was. I want to improve my health. I don't have longevity in my genes. I've lost a dad to cancer at 66. my mom at 69. I lost a sister in her early 40s. You know, I turned 50 a couple of years ago. I'm doing the math, and you know, so I want to change that. And so, you know, I'm investing in myself to improve myself, but I'm investing in my business because I want to use this as a platform to really take off now and help a lot of people. And I'm really excited about the transformation program. So I think that's it, Darlene.
Thank you. So that's a perspective from somebody who went from boot camps, okay, boot camps, to this here relationship driven, you can do it, you're going to succeed beyond my coaching program. So this is a brand new strategy for all of us with Unicity. So you can hear why he always says yes to me, and why he kind of reminds me, you know, I got little Doug sitting on my shoulder, perking in my ears if Clayton should ask me for something and I should ever say no. That would be almost sacrilege after doing these calls. So thank you, everybody, for coming. So that's basically what I wanted to highlight tonight. Do you know what's really thrilling me tonight? I got to tell you guys, Ashley is my oldest daughter, and yesterday was her 20th anniversary, and she's been on here listening to this meeting. And the last time she was on a Zoom call, it was because she was speaking as one of the Activate Plus examples, and her success has continued since she finished her Activate Plus program with Micah. And she went on holidays. She took a holiday. She did all of the things that she loves to do. She ate all the things she loves to eat. She drank all the things that she loved to drink. And it took her a week and a half to go back to holiday weight. And today she's down almost 40 pounds. So I'm so proud of what my girls have done and what they're doing. And I'm actually proud that she's sitting here listening to everybody talk and meeting the people here again. So thank you, Ashley, for joining us and being here. So, and thank you all for being here and coming in. Yes, we're 45 minutes. And Clayton said, don't worry about it, Darlene. If you need 40 minutes, you get 40 minutes. If you need 30 minutes, you got 30 minutes. And I usually run way over, and because I am a constant talker. But here's my encouragement for all of you. We're in a time in society, I don't care where you live in the world, where people are really going to need this company. I said last night on my broadcast that, you know, I read in the last week or two that even proteins, having proteins in your house, is the equivalent to food safety. We're going through some really rough times. People need this business. We need them, and they need us. And our products are food safety. They're health safety. They're going to keep you healthy. They're going to improve your immune system. They're going to give you the ability to stay vibrant through these tough times. And as far as the business opportunity, let me tell you, people are going to need this opportunity to get back on their feet. I did come to this company myself, not seeking a business opportunity, seeking my health while I was in the middle of a personal and a corporate bankruptcy. And this company has guided me, never made me super rich or any of that, but it has guided me and helped me through some of the toughest times financially in my life. So I want to thank everybody at Unicity. I want to thank everybody that joined me here tonight. And I want to thank Micah for doing such a great job. I knew he would. And thank Clayton for making this available for all of you and me. So as of this, I'm going to bid you all good night, and I will call the meeting done.